In today's video, we're kicking off our 2019 Top Prospect Series, where we're going to take a look at the top 5 prospects of every NHL team. We're getting things started with the New York Rangers, and that's coming up next. Welcome back here to Top Shelf Hockey, and welcome back to the Top Prospect Series. This will be our second year conducting this. We did this last year here in 2018 as well, where we took a look at all 31 NHL teams' top prospect pools and analyzed their top prospects here as of that time. Of course, we just recently had the 2019 NHL Draft. We have another group of players to join all these teams, so I thought it would be time again here to do another review of all the teams' prospect pools, and we're going to get started with one of the deepest, most talented pools around the NHL from the Big Apple, the New York Rangers. And of course, as we know, the Rangers just had a great 2019 NHL Draft and added some more talent to an already deep, impressive pool of players here. This rebuild is going incredibly well for the Rangers, and they're already on the upswing after free agency here as well. I think we're going to start seeing them coming out of the rebuild, be much more competitive, and even start to challenge for a playoff spot as early as the coming season. Now let's dive in here with their top 5 prospects. First up, we've got goaltender Igor Georgiev, who likely could be the heir to King Henrik and the potential goaltender of the future. He's been playing in the KHL the past few seasons, putting up ridiculous statistics, including a 1.11 goals against average and a .953 save percentage last year in 28 games played. He never quits on a play and gets across the crease very quickly to make a lot of very acrobatic saves. He tracks the puck incredibly well. His glove hand is outstanding, taking away the top of the net quite a bit here in the last few years. He's really improved his rebound control substantially as well. Even when he gives up a rebound, he's really good at staying square to the puck and resetting to be ready for the next shot on goal. He's an absolutely incredible goaltending prospect, one of the best around the NHL. Given the fact that the Rangers already have a goaltending tandem of Lundqvist and Georgiev, more than likely he gets a start at the American Hockey League. This will be his first pro season in North America after signing his entry-level contract this past summer, coming over from the KHL. Very interested to see how this prospect develops with the pro hockey here in North America. We'll see how he can do, and you never know, depending on injuries and whatnot this year, he very well might get a crack at the NHL in some limited opportunities here, but certainly one of the better goaltending prospects around the league and potential goaltender of the future here for the New York Rangers. Next up, we have defenseman K'Andre Miller, who was a 2018 draft selection here by the New York Rangers. Now, Miller was originally a forward for the bulk of his hockey career until recently converting to a defenseman. He's got excellent size, 6'3", approximately 200 pounds. His first year of college hockey went incredibly well with Wisconsin. He's got an excellent skater. He moves very well on the ice for a guy his size. He had pretty solid offensive output in his first season of college hockey, putting up 22 points in 26 games played. He's also a very responsible defensive game as well. When he was playing forward, he was a pretty solid two-way guy, and that certainly translated to being on the blue line instead. So he's very responsible that way. He's a terrific overall athlete, and his fitness level makes him a very high probability to make the NHL. This guy's an absolute machine and one of the better athletes out of the last year's draft. In my opinion, he certainly projects to be an NHL talent, more likely a top 4 defenseman who should have solid two-way upside at both ends of the ice. Next up, we get defenseman Adam Fox, who is new to the New York Rangers organization. He was originally drafted by the Calgary Flames back in 2016 in the 3rd round. Ended up being traded to the Carolina Hurricanes as part of a big package at last year's NHL Draft in 2018 that saw the Flames and Canes exchange multiple players. Of course, this past year, he failed to sign with Carolina, and then more recently here in the spring, after not coming to terms on a contract, they did decide to trade his rights to the New York Rangers, where he's now signed to his entry-level contract. Of course, he played 3 seasons at Harvard University and had a terrific collegiate career before ending it to turn pro here this past spring. He's not an overly big defenseman, 5'10", around 185 pounds, but the way he plays, he doesn't really need the size. He's incredibly quick. He was a Hobey Baker finalist this past year. Excellent playmaker from the back end. Top-class vision, elite puck distribution abilities, very accurate shot and gets it through from the point quite a bit here as well. The skating kind of reminds you a little bit when you see him out there kind of making his moves. Kind of reminds you a little bit of a young Erik Karlsson. Not going to say he's going to turn out to be Erik Karlsson. That's not where we're going with this. But just the way he skates and the way he can twist and turn and a lot of the moves he can make out there just kind of reminds me a little bit of Erik Karlsson when he was first breaking into the NHL and when he was first coming out of the junior leagues in Sweden. But he certainly has the potential here to be a power play quarterback. That Rangers blue line has certainly gotten some nice upgrades here over the offseason, and I fully suspect Adam Fox to jump into the lineup this year. He may not get a big role at the Rangers right off the bat, but I fully expect him to make the roster and at least kind of get his feet wet here and see what he can do. Hopefully get some time on the power play, but a terrific addition here by the Rangers to grab this quality young prospect defenseman. Now next up we have their 2018 first round selection, Vitaly Kravtsov. When Kravtsov was drafted by the New York Rangers, a lot of people kind of did a double take and they really kind of went off the board a little bit based on the draft rankings, but they obviously seen a lot about this player that they really liked, and over the past season, after he's continued his development here, I think many people are more on board with this pick than they were in the beginning. Kravtsov's an excellent skater. He's got great speed and acceleration. He can take a defenseman wide off the rush and cut to the front of the net. His ability to change speeds is a weapon on the rush. To see him beat a defender one-on-one and take it hard to the net is not unusual, something he does incredibly well. The fact that he can change speeds on the rush as well is quite a weapon for him. He also has terrific vision and passing skills as well to be a really solid playmaking winger. Even though he is more of a shoot-first player, when he decides to make the pass, he certainly does it tremendously. His defensive game is also pretty solid for his age as well. He's a pretty decent two-way forward. He works hard on the back check, something that he had been working on. I think a few years back, if you were watching him, you'd say that he needed to work a little bit harder when it came to the defensive side of the game. And I must say that seems to have improved here quite a bit. His natural skill is certainly enough to make him a top 6 forward here at the NHL level, so we'll see where he projects to be in the Rangers lineup. He is expected to get an opportunity with the Rangers this year. Obviously, he came over to North America along with goaltending prospect Igor Georgiev and signed his 3-year entry-level contract. He will definitely be playing in North America 100% this year, and I fully suspect him to be in New York. I mean, they do have a fairly deep roster now with all the players they've been able to develop and add here in the last couple of years. So we'll see how things go. He may have to spend a little bit of time in the American League, but either way, he's a very exciting prospect to keep your eye on here for the Rangers. Now, last but certainly not least, the absolute top prospect in the Rangers system is a newly drafted Kaapo Kakko, number 2 overall from the 2019 NHL Draft. This guy is an absolute beast here and has the potential to be a future franchise player for this team. He's a top-line forward for sure. He may not get top-line minutes immediately, but his ceiling certainly projects him to be a first-line winger, absolutely. He's an excellent playmaker. He's got great anticipation as well. You can kind of know how he anticipates the play well before it happens, which certainly helps him get into the right positions and certainly allows him to take advantage of a lot of defenders that way. He's an excellent finisher as well. He's got a great shot. He's got great hands, and he protects the puck incredibly well as well. He's got pretty good size for his age. He's been playing over in Finland with men. He's not playing junior hockey there, and he's certainly able to be up to the task. He's helped his country of Finland win gold at the World Juniors. He helped his country win gold at the World Championships. This guy's done nothing but win and set records here in this past year. There's still many people out there thought he might be the better prospect than Jack Hughes. But you know what? If you look at Kakko and Hughes, I think Kakko is a better prospect and better fit for the New York Rangers longer term here. This guy has so much upside. He's going to jump into the NHL and have an immediate impact. I think Jack Hughes will have an impact as well, but I can see Kakko's original results maybe being a little bit more dominant early on. Over time, Hughes will catch up and very well might prove to be the better prospect. I guess time will tell. But as far as Kakko goes, like I said, he's just an absolute potential franchise player. The New York Rangers were so lucky to be able to win the lottery and get that top 2 spot to land a player that has this much talent. So in my opinion, those are your top 5 prospects here for the New York Rangers, but they have plenty of other young players as well that unfortunately didn't make my list or played enough NHL games that I don't really consider them to be a prospect anymore. But when you throw in their 2019 second round pick, Matthew Robertson, pretty solid defenseman, another great guy to have in your system here. They have forward Vinny Lettieri, who had a terrific year in the American Hockey League last year. If he keeps playing that way, he's going to earn himself an opportunity. Of course, they already have a lot of other young players that they've had graduate to the NHL over the past year or so, like Philip Hedl, Lias Andersson, Brett Howden. They acquired Brendan Lemieux from Winnipeg in that trade. Obviously, they have a lot of young talent here, and this team is going to be very exciting and could be back to their old winning dominant ways here in the not too distant future. So Rangers fans, you have a terrific prospect pool, one of the best around the NHL in my opinion, and you have a lot to look forward to here in the very near future. So of course, as always, I want to hear your thoughts and your comments. Who are you most excited about? Who do you think are the Rangers' top prospects? Leave me your comments down below and we'll continue the conversation. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing and turning on your notification bell so you get notified every time we put out new content. We normally have 2 to 3 new videos per day. There'll be plenty more coming in this prospect series, as well as all kinds of other NHL news from all 31 NHL teams. Thank you very much for watching, and I will catch you next time.